Hello, good evening, everybody. Priscilla, can you make me a co-host? I don't know if you can hear me. All right. I believe Mary's on the call too, please. There is a co-host. All right. Good evening, everybody. I don't know. Can you stop sharing your screen, Priscilla? Okay. I can see stuff like everybody. All right. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. Good morning, good afternoon. I believe a couple of us are joining in from other country. I would love to see in the chat where you are joining us from. For me, I'm joining in from Lagos, Nigeria. I would love to just do a quick roll call. Let's know where everyone is joining us from. All right, Beatrice from Lagos. Interesting. Ifedayo, yeah, I hope I got your name correctly, from Canada. All right, so let's have more. Okay, Titi from Lagos. Looks like Lagos people are leading this. Amaka from Enugu. Olayemi from Lagos. Or Amarachi from UK. Yemi from Lagos. So we have a lot of Lagos participants today. Also, Taiwo from Egypt. Interesting. Joy from Ogun State. Tayo from Austin. So let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Also, I would love to get a feel of individuals that are joining the session for the first time. If you know you are joining the session, if you know this is your first analytics masterclass, put a one in the chat. Let's see. Let's know the newcomers in our midst. Also, Beatrice, interesting. Olayemi, first time, interesting. Super glad to have everyone here. It's actually going to be a very fantastic 2-hour session. And I strongly believe that you learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot from this free practical masterclass, right? So just give me a moment. Let me pull up my slide. Then we hit the ground running. All right. Do let me know if you can see my slides. Do let me know. Priscilla, can anyone see my slide? Do let me know. Put it in the chat.
Yes, I can see it. Right.
All right, interesting. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's just get started without wasting much of our time. Let me just take this away. All right, so let's get started. So today, I believe everyone knows what we'll be talking about today. We're actually going to be learning how to measure employees' compensation and benefits using what's Power BI. So it's always one of our tasks to always have a week-long practical session. Starting from Thursday, we did a session on data analytics for individuals that are interested in starting a career in data and analytics. We also did one in business analysis, and today we are here to give every participant a feel of what HR analysts do, or let's say how to upskill yourself as an HR professional using analytics. So yes, today we'll be talking about measuring employees' compensation and benefits using Power BI, right? I believe a lot of persons know what Power BI is, but if you do not know, today is the best time for you to know and as well leverage Power BI in your role as an HR professional. So yes, so let's get started. Yeah, so for the newcomers in our midst, so I'll just give us a brush through about what analytics is or what we stand for, or let's say what we pride ourselves in, right? Internalytics, yes, we're an edtech company striving to help Africans and people of the Black community learn premium tech skills, towards lowering the barrier of entry into tech. And you would agree with me, a lot of persons in the UK or let's say abroad we want to be in an organization whereby we would see people of the same color, right? So let's say you get into the organization, you would definitely be seeing a lot of white persons. You might not be comfortable that much, but when you see your guy, let's say your colleague, or let's say a friend or someone of your color, you get to relate to them, right? So that's the idea of Tenalytics. So we want individuals to be able to get these fantastic tech skills that put them into organization, as well as bring more Black people into tech, right? So yes, we offer other service offerings, ranging from data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, and today we would be working on HR analytics, right? So actually, our services cut across every data ecosystem, in as much as we are talking data, numbers, and information, right? So yeah, we have top professionals who are facilitators, right? And they have experiences cutting across Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey and Company, Coca-Cola, Google, P&G, Sahara Group, name them, name the companies, right? We have those facilitators who are ready to handhold you into this career path, right? Yes, so quickly, for individuals that are just joining, that's why I'm actually doing this introduction, right? So the co-founders of Tenalytics are Adeza and Ifemena, right? So if Adeza is the founder of Tenalytics, and he has close to a decade experience in data analytics, as well as management consulting, right? He's currently a data analytics expert in the UK and has worked as a data analyst business performance with the Sahara Group Limited. If you don't know the company called the Sahara Group is actually the biggest energy company in sub-Saharan Africa, right? And he has personally trained over 8,500 participants, like over 8,500 participants. And I believe that joining us at Tenalytics, you would be included in the numbers of individuals that would be, narrating their success stories and be part of the individuals Adeza would have trained by year end, right? So I'll be sharing this slide thereafter. You can, try to connect to Adeza on LinkedIn, via Twitter, as well as Instagram. To my right-hand side is Ifemena Ipro. Ifemena Ipro is the co-founder of Tenalytics, and he also has close to a decade experience as a data scientist, cutting across multiple sectors. And he currently leads the business data support with the post office at the United Kingdom, right? So he has also worked in diverse roles in data. All right, sorry about that. So he has also worked in diverse roles as a BI developer, as a data scientist, and many other data analytics roles. And he would also be one of the facilitators, handholding you into getting started as an HR analyst. All right, so our achievements since inception. So Tenalytics started in 2020 during the lockdown period, right? And over those time and period, we've been able to help over 1,000 people transition from the classroom into getting their first job in tech. When we mean transition, like people who have eventually landed jobs in tech, moving from the classroom into their first jobs in tech. Some of these persons do not even have any prior tech experience, but going through the program and we furnish them with relevant tech skills, right? They were able to land their first job in tech, cutting across the UK, US, as well as Canada, right? So yeah, and also we've made impact within the data ecosystem, right? And one of our major impacts is through what we call our data hackathon. Our data hackathon gives us the opportunity to connect to data enthusiasts, right? So you're a data enthusiast. So what skill, or let's say what problem are you trying to solve, right? So we even solve issues cutting across health, finance, and data review. For last year, we did a case study on poverty in Africa, having to provide solutions to it. And currently, we're working on a solution that will be presented to the World Bank next year, right? So when you get the slide, you get to have access to some of the features here and our impact story, right? So early this year, we also did one of the largest hackathon in Nigeria as well as Africa, where we had Mitchell Conway, who is the lead data scientist, being part of the judges for the hackathon, and also other fantastic individuals like Sadiq Akintola, Sebastian Obeta, as well as Olamide. Olamide is the data and analytics lead. That's the head of data and analytics for Wema Bank Nigeria. So a lot of Nigerian individuals should know Wema Bank. Wema Bank is one of the foremost fintech, let's say financial technology, banks that's leading the change with fintech, right? So, and Olamide drives and leads the data and analytics division within the Wema Bank industry, Wema Bank company, right? We also featured on Tech Cabal blog, right? You can see there EdTech platforms, analytics, grants, tech scholarships to 300 women. Yeah, it's one of our things to always impact, like I made mention of earlier. This said during the International Women's Day, we also gave scholarship to 300 women, right, to get them started in tech. And it has also been a fantastic journey for them. And we've had a lot of them who have gotten tech jobs. Some of them were sit-at-home moms, and at the end of the program, even before getting done with the program, they were able to land tech jobs without any prior experience. So when I say you are in the right place, I'm actually saying it. You are in the right place. Right, so some of our participants have worked in some of the companies listed here. This is actually a snapshot of some of the companies and not limited to this. You can see next to, you can see Amazon, Microsoft, Uber, Coca-Cola, MTN, First Bank, KPMG, Central Bank of Nigeria, Glo, Zenith, name them, right? So we have students who have joined us across these industries and companies that are listed on the screen. All right, so I've been introducing a lot of persons, right? So I believe it's time for me to introduce myself. So a lot of persons would have been saying in their minds, so who are you actually, right? So I'm Elijah Ebulwe. I currently lead the growth and strategies with Tenalytics, right? So I have close to 4 years unparalleled experience in high-level project management and strategic planning, driving success in educational technology and NGOs, right? So joining Tenalytics, I have helped over 900 people transition into tech. And what I do is to provide them the support and as well guidance and offer clarity sessions that has enabled them choose the career path that is best suited for them. So yes, so a lot of persons you do not even need to have a computer-related degree, right? You just need some form of guidance. And that's what I do within Tenalytics, right? So I'm actually passionate about helping and making tech attractive to individuals with a non-computer related degree. You that graduated with degree in Yoruba or even French language, you can learn a very juicy tech offer in a very big company abroad with just being an HR analyst or even getting equipped with analytics and merging it with your years of experience as an HR professional, right? So alongside the facilitator that will be training you today is Mary Anene. So Mary is the Senior Data Associate here at Tenalytics, and she is a data analytics and BI, that's business intelligence professional, and she has close to 5 years of experience cutting across diverse industry, including policy making, importation, marketing, edtech, and she currently leads or drives one of the programs, that's the HR analytics program in Tenalytics as a senior data associate. All right, so what will we be doing today? Just on 4 major areas. Like I said, 2 hours and we are done with what we'll be doing today, right? So number 1, we would actually be analyzing an employee HR data. So Mary will come on to do some of the analytics, the practical analytics. We will be working on a real life case study, right? So you'll be analyzing employee HR data. Then we'll move on to the next. When she's done, I will then come up to take over from her, where I'll be showing you, putting you through the pathway to becoming an HR analytics professional and securing a job anywhere in the world. Just getting or less equipping yourself with analytics, you can work remotely. You can be in Nigeria and work as an HR analyst in the UK, work as an HR analyst in Canada, work as an HR analyst in UAE, just without skill set. But I'll be coming to show you how that is possible and how you can do that, right? And also I'll be introducing you to our upcoming masterclass, HR Analytics Masterclass, coming up on November 4th. And I would also share with you success stories of some students that have gone through our program and they're able to land jobs, tech jobs in Canada, in the US, in the UK, right? So yeah, so let's get started. So I believe, Mary, you would want to take it up from here and share your slides. Hello, Mary, are you there? All right. Okay, awesome.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Elijah, good evening. All right, so my name is Mary. I'm a senior data associate at Tenalytics, and I'm going to be guiding you guys on the process of how to create HR solutions using your Power BI. And for today, we are going to be working on a case study on employee compensation and benefits, okay? So I'm going to share my screen so we can look at what the data set is all about, and we can start using Power BI to create our solution, okay? All right, so this is the data set we are going to be working on. I believe we can all see my screen. If you can see my screen, just type yes in the comment section. Type yes in the comment section so we can. So okay, well, job titles. Okay, we have our employee department, bonus with an employee. We have the salary, we have listed out, and all the amounts listed out. And interest dates and the date employees that have left the organization, and coupled with reason for employee turnover. Okay, so here is what we're going
to... Hello, Mary, can you hear me? Looks like, I don't know, okay, your mic is kind of seizing. I don't know if that's
okay.
All right, yes.
All right, so I don't know, maybe it's okay, I don't know if you can hear me better now.
Yes, it works now. It works perfectly well.
Awesome. Now that we've gotten from, I'm going to go into, can import our data into Power BI. Our data, okay? So just share my screen to Power. All right, so now that we're, first thing I want to do is to import my data set, okay? So what I want to do here, I'll go to Power BI, get data. Some of us are very familiar with this, while some of us are getting to know this for the first time, okay? So to get your data source, Power BI has multiple data connectors that helps us to connect data from diverse sources, including database system, web pages, and so on, okay? But for today, we are going to be connecting to a CSV file in our local computer drive, okay? So I'm going to click on Get Data, okay? So once I click on Get Data, I see a drop down and a list of data connectors listed out here in our Power BI system, okay? So I navigate here and I find my CSV file which I want to connect to. So once I click on that, I get to my File Explorer where I have my CSV file saved, okay? So if I hover here on File Type, you can see that we have our value, which is the short form of CSV. Comma separated value is what CSV practical. I said we are going to be dealing with employee compensation benefits. Okay, so I'm going to. All right. So Power BI is going to load our data system. Okay. So good. All right, so here we go. We have our data sets imported into Power BI. To take to import our data set. Okay, this is just Power BI giving us an overview of what we are trying to import, showing us a brief summary, sure that we are importing the correct type of data. So what we want to do at this stage is to go through our data, the right data, okay, before clicking on load or transform. Okay, so now that we are sure that we have the right data, looking at it earlier, we have all our benefits, termination dates, hire dates, so on. Okay, so we've got data. The next thing we want to do now is we can't load our data without ensuring that our ready to work on. Okay, transform data.
Hello, Mary. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, so
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can actually, but your mic is breaking. You get to when you say some things at some point, you might not be able to get the other aspect. I don't know if you want to.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to log in back. You drop off and come in again or something, right?
All right. So, all right. I can do that.
Just quickly do that. So let's see if that rectifies the error.
Okay.
I just feel it's just tech misalignment. Just quickly just do that, right? All right. So please, while Mary is okay, there's no problem. I'm trying to sort that out. Yeah. So she's going to join in again. But what I've sent in the data set for the class, so you could probably just download for some persons that would want. For some of us that would want to follow through, but it's always very, very advisable for us to listen attentively to what she's trying to achieve, right? Because very, very key for everyone. Okay, yeah. So if you're connected to your phone, that's totally fine. But I'll send in the data set again for some persons that would want to learn as she goes on in class, right? And it's very, very key. Why we always try to do sessions like this is because, yeah, it's going to be a free one, but you learn a lot, right? So something that you can always implement in your offices. Right? So I believe that we have a lot of HR professionals in our midst, and we're increasing. This is just 92 on the course. So I believe before we get into the middle of the session, we'd have gotten like over 100 persons on the call. All right. So Mary, yeah, I believe you are back now. Yes, I believe you're back now. Let me make it. Right, make it a course now. All right, great. I believe you're a course now. All right, great. So yeah, I believe you are good now. Yes, I can hear you now. Please just say one or two. I
can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, awesome, fantastic. So let's over to you. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, then. So I'm going to go back to our data sets, okay? So what we did previously, we tried to load our data sets into Power BI. Then we clicked on transform. And what transform will do is to take us into another interface which is our Power Query, okay? Our Power Query editor. I don't know if you guys can hear me, can still hear me clearly. I want to confirm that you can still hear me clearly.
Yes, works now. Fantastic.
All right. So let me just go ahead, okay? So Power Query Editor is an interface in Power BI that helps us to clean, transform, and load our data, okay? So we've been able to import our data into Power BI. Now it's time for us to look at our data sets, our data types, and see if we can find any data discrepancies, clean our data, and ensure it is ready for us to analyze, okay? So that's the step we're going to be taking here. We're going to look at our data, okay? So I'm just going to be moving from left to right to look at every data column here. So luckily for me, I already have some help with Power BI showing me the data validity, okay? So almost all the columns here, or most of the columns here are showing 100% data validity, which means my data is complete. We don't have any errors within our columns, and we don't have empty cells as well to worry about, okay? So we come to our termination column here, which is a date column, okay? So we have 51% empty cells, okay? So before we go ahead and start deleting, we take note that it is a termination date, okay? So not all employees, because first of all, this is an employee data, and this is also termination date, okay? Not all employees have left the organization. So very much likely we are going to have empty cells within this column. So it is very okay. It's perfectly okay for us to leave this cell as it is presently, okay? So the next thing we're looking at our turnover rate. Our turnover rate as it is, okay? We are expecting that we do not also have all the cells as filled, okay? We don't have all the cells as filled, okay? So we can see some data discrepancies. We don't have all the cells as filled because not all the employees have left the organization as well, okay? So I'm going to start looking at our data types, okay, and start working on that, okay? So right here we have our employee ID, okay? We have our employee ID. Our employee ID here is saved as a numeric value. And if we know anything about primary key and secondary key, we know that most likely they are not used as numerical values since they are used majorly as identifiers, okay? So these identifiers are going to always be stored in non-numerical value. So we are going to be converting this column to text because we don't want to add up whatever is in this column. We just want to find out the number of people that are within the organization, okay? We cannot use this identity to find out maybe the sum, the average, or whatever other aggregate calculations that we can do within the Power BI, okay? So I'm going to transform this to text, and it's going to ask me some questions to ensure that we are taking the right step. I say, yes, I want it to replace this, okay? So now that we have this, we are going to go ahead and launch our data, okay? Our data type, salary, bonus, and everything is good to go, decimal place and all that, okay? So what do we do next? We are going to load our data into our Power BI interface, okay? So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to click on close and load icon. Okay, close and load icon, and that should take us to our Power BI. Okay. All right, so hold on, let me share my screen again. All right, so we should have our data sets within this Power BI desktop in a few minutes, all right? All right, so far, are we together? Are we following? Are we understanding what is going on currently in front of us, in front of our screen? Can we see what's going on, and are we following through? If you know you are following through, just give a thumbs up or just share an emoji in the comment section and let's know that you are still with us. Okay. Okay, so we are still waiting for our data to load. Okay. So because of the size of the data set, it might sometimes take Power BI a longer time to process its data. So this is why it might be taking a bit long right now. Okay, so we are just going to be a bit patient and let that process. Someone in the comment section said, does it mean that, okay, I think it's Anthony, says, does it mean that determination column will be left as it is without being completed? Yes, determination column will be left as it is without being completed, okay? Because if we delete the ones that are null, we are going to lose the data of our current employees, okay? If we delete the data set that is null, we are going to lose the information of our current employees. And if we delete the data that is not null, okay, we are going to lose information of the number of employees that have left the organization, okay? So we are not going to have accurate information when calculating things like our turnover rate or our attrition, okay? So these are some things to keep in mind when dealing with different kinds of data, especially HR data, okay? Especially HR data. Is this Power BI an online tool? Power BI is not an online tool, okay? Power BI is very much free. You can download it in your Windows App Store, okay? You can also check out the Tenalytics YouTube channel to see how to download your Power BI onto your personal computer, okay? Yes, you can have the video after the training, okay? As long as you are registered, okay, use the form and you are going to get an email after this, okay? All right, so data set is loaded, so I'm waiting for it to appear right here so we can start. Okay. All right, so now we have our data set in our Power BI interface. This interface we are currently is called the report view, okay? Because literally we are going to be creating our report on this blank canvas here, okay? So we have all our tabs, our tools, and all the equipment we need to create an amazing dashboard. But before we start creating our dashboard, we are going to be creating some measures, which we call the DAX measures, data analytics expression. These DAX measures just help us to ensure that we have good and accurate calculations for our analysis. And with our DAX measure today, we are going to be calculating what? We are going to be calculating the total annual compensation for this particular data set. And to do that, the first thing I want to do, I'm going to create a new table for my measures because I like to ensure that my measures are under a particular column, okay? So I'm going to click on add column, okay? This is a table creation icon. So let me just click on this drop down so we can see even much better what is going on and the labels that are on this interface, okay? So we have here enter data. So we are going to use this enter data to create a column, okay? We're going to create a new table, sorry. So I'm going to just name this table calculations. Okay, so I'm going to click on load, and this should load our data, our table into Power BI. So I'm just going to wait for that to walk into the Power BI data model. Okay, and we'll start creating our DAX measures for our analysis. Okay. So since we already know that we are looking at our compensation, okay, we looked at our data sets, we saw that our data was in different columns. We had one in salary. Okay, I think someone is unmuted. I don't know if you can mute your mic. Okay, so can you guys hear me? So now we have our calculation column. Here we are going to store all our measures, okay? So since we are dealing with compensation today, okay, we have our compensation data set all filled out here, okay? So what we are going to do, we are going to take a look at it and see some of the columns that we require to understand or calculate our compensation in general, okay? So we have our salary. Salary is a model, is a part of compensation. Retirement contribution is also a part of compensation. Overtime pay, other benefits, and healthcare benefits, bonuses as well, okay? So the first thing we want to do is to calculate the total compensation in this particular organization. So what I want to do here, I'm going to click on calculation because that's the table I want my measure to be under. I'm going to right click and click on new measure, okay? So once I click on new measure, I am going to be creating a DAX measure, okay? Using something known as the SumX function, okay? I'm going to be using the SumX function to calculate these entire columns together in this DAX measure, okay? So the first thing I want to do here, I'm going to enlarge this so we can see my measurement a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to just reduce that a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to change the title of this column, the title of this measure. Okay, I'm going to call it total annual compensation. Okay, I'm going to click equal to total annual compensation. And then, like I said, we're going to be using a DAX function called the SumX function. We have the sum, we have product, divide, and so on. But today we are going to be using the SumX function because we are going to be adding multiple columns in this particular measure, okay? So I'm going to start typing my sum, and we have this drop-down list of things or formulas or functions that fit into what we have typed in already. I'm going to use the SumX as said, okay? The first thing I want to do is to call the table name that I will be using in this sum. Okay, the table name I'm using is employee compensation benefits. All right. So employee compensation benefits, I'm going to be using what? I'm going to be using a comma, and I'm going to be using a column called let's see. Okay, employee bonus. Let me just expand that to ensure I'm seeing everything properly. Employee bonus. Okay, I'm going to use the add button and type okay, and just okay, so my mouse is a bit blocked. Okay, so I forgot to use my bracket there, so that's what I just went to replace. Okay, so I'm going to use we've done our bonus, so let me just scroll down and do that alphabetically. The next, we have our healthcare here. So the healthcare benefits. Okay, I'm going to close brackets. Okay, so I don't have an open bracket. Use a plus sign again. Open brackets, employee, healthcare, we've done for healthcare, other benefits. Okay, so close brackets, use our plus sign again. Okay, and same way, repeat the same process till we have all our benefits in check. So we have overtime. Okay. Okay. All right, so I mistakenly hit that enter key. So Power BI thinks I am done with my calculation, but there's no issue. We're just going to continue from where we stopped. So employee, we have our overtime. We're going to continue and look at retirement, then salary. Okay, so so this is just us adding up a couple of multiple columns together just to get a total round figure of how employee compensation is in this organization. Okay, so now that we're done with this, I'm just going to add final brackets here and click enter. We should have our calculation already set. Okay, so the next thing we want to look at the total count of employees. Okay, the total count of employees, and we are going to be filtering by the number of employees that are still in the organization. Remember, we had some null columns within our data sets in termination dates. Okay, so we are going to leverage that to ensure we get the accurate number of employees that are still in this organization. Okay, so what do? I'm going to right click again, click on new measures. Okay, I want to get all our calculations in place before we start visualizing our data. Okay, so to find out the total number of employees. Okay, okay, so we have employee headcount, and I'm just going to start by using a calculate function. Okay, so our calculate function allows us to use an expression as well as a filter to calculate our data. So I want to find out the distinct count of the employee using the employee ID as the target column. Okay, then I want to put a filter that says only count these columns if they fit into this condition that I'm about to put in, which is employee. Okay, so we have employee termination date. Okay, so employee termination date is if the employee termination date column is blank. Okay, so it's going to just count the rows that are blank and give me the total sum of that. Okay, so that is the total number of employees that are within the organization. Okay, so I'm just going to say equal to blank. So Power BI is going to bring out the function and our blank here, which is what is going to count. Okay, so I'm going to click on enter. So the next thing we want to calculate as well is our turnover rate. Okay, we are going to calculate our turnover rate, and we also want to calculate the total average salary or average compensation. Okay, so I'm quickly going to do that here, and we are going to see new measure. Okay, so the next is turnover rate. Okay, so our turnover rate quickly. Our turnover rate is just to understand the percentage of people that have left the organization against the total number of employees that we currently have in the organization, or the total number of employees we have in general. So I'm going to just name this turnover rate is equal to, we're going to use our variables here. So I'm just going to use the Shift Enter key just to drop down, and I'm going to name this variable total employees. Okay, let me just bring that all together, total employees, and I'm going to use the equal sign and calculate the total employees. Okay, I don't need this, I just need to use distinct count, okay, of the total employees within the organization. All right, so we don't want to use any filter here. I'm just going to close that. We have another variable coming up. This time, this variable is going to be the count of turnover rate, okay? So we are going to do a little twist here. The way we calculated our head count, we are just going to, change that up a little bit, okay? So we have terminated employees. So that's what I'm going to be calling that. Okay, so we have the terminated employees here. So I'm just going to say equal to, okay, calculate, because we are going to need all the expressions and filters that we need to make this formula finalized. Okay, so I'm going to use employee employee head count. No, we don't want employee head count. We want to use the employee table. Calculate. Okay, so we're only getting this data employee. I wonder why this is not coming out the way it's supposed to. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. Okay, because I don't want us to waste any of our time. All right, so the next thing I want to do, I want to use the column employee ID. Okay, let me just copy everything. In fact, Control C. All right, so now that we have this, I want to also, okay. Okay, so I'm going to apply our filter here, and our filter is going to go in accordance with what? It's going to go in accordance with our employee termination column. Okay, so I'm going to copy this again. All right, I have, okay, let me just give this space. Okay, so we are back on track. All right, so I'm going to delete this and see if I can call in this column again. Employee benefits. I'll put this here. So what is the error? All right, so I'm experiencing a bit of an error and it's really baffling me, whatever it is. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the bracket, comma, and impute that again. So we want to use the termination table here. Unexpected. What do you mean by unexpected? All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and type in the name of our termination column here. Termination date, close brackets, okay? And what the filter we want to use here obviously is blank. Okay, so we are back. All right, so the other thing we are going to be adding here, we're going to be adding not blank. Okay, wrong part. Not. All right, so distinct count. Okay, let me just do that. All right, so sometimes we can have some mix up. Okay, so mine here was not putting the expression that was supposed to be here. So I'm just going to try and clean this up as well. Termination date. Okay, termination date is blank. So the summary of the formula here basically is that we are calculating the distinct count of employees within the organization, but we want it to calculate the cells that are not blank. That is why we have this not here, this NOT, okay, not blank, okay. So we told the function within the bracket to calculate all that is blank, okay. So once it also comes in counter with this, it's going to drop all the cells that are actually blank, and we are going to be left with the count of cells that are not blank, okay. So now for our final, we are going to be returning a result which we are going to be dividing both, okay. Return. Okay, we are going to divide this numerator. Okay, we have our variable stored already. Termination divided by total. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have now. Termination divided by total employee. So we should have our total results here. Okay. One thing I also want to make sure that I do before we start visualizing is to ensure that our output comes out as percentage. If you can see here, we have our data format, and our data format currently is in general. So I'm going to click on this percentage sign to do the conversion before we start visualizing, okay? So I'm going to click on that, and we have our percentage. All right, so this is what we have right now. We can't see the data visually, but we are going to see that in a bit, okay? So I think we have what we need here, okay? So we are going to work on our dashboard view. And the first thing I want to do is to ensure that our template is set, okay? So we are going to be creating our dashboard template before laying our visuals on them, okay? The first thing I want to do, I'm going to be customizing the size of our dashboard. So I'll go to our setting here and do the customization, change our size, okay, 950 here, and okay. All right, so this is what we have here, okay. So the next thing I want to do is change the background color of our dashboard. And I'm going to go to color background, canvas background, and I'm going to just impute a color code, which I have here. Okay, so you're going to get the video at the end of the section. So you're also going to have time to see the color code I'm imputing currently. All right. So this is what we have here. So we won't be able to see the color at the background because our transparency is set to 100%. So I'm just going to drop that and we have this here. Okay. The next I'm going to do, I'm going to be importing some shapes. Okay. So that we can create our dashboard background or dashboard backdrop. Okay. And the shape I want to use is just this rectangle here. So that should appear onto our screen. And let's start visualizing. Okay, let's start creating our visuals. Okay, so I'm going to enhance this particular shape, change the color. Okay, I just want it to be white right now. I do not want a border. I want it to have shadow. Okay, so that is it. That's all the enhancement I want to do. Then for the properties, I want the size to be 143 and 285. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate that and fill out the entire screen. Okay, so I'm just going to remove that here. Okay, so this, I'm going to have it here, and I'm going to check the property and enlarge that to 6777, and then let's see, 518. Okay, so don't worry about the measurements, don't worry about that at all. Okay, all right, so this is what we have here. We have our first chart template here. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this as well, and we're going to have other templates that we're going to be dropping on as soon as possible. Okay, so let me just expand that and do the same thing, Control-C, Control-V to duplicate. Okay, so I'm going to just drop this here. Just minimize this a little bit and increase the size of this as well. All right. All right, so I'm just trying to make sure the size of our dashboard fits in as much as possible before we start visualizing. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this down to fit, and we are good to go. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to ensure that my dashboard CAD visual templates are properly aligned. So I'm going to go to the Format tab here and Format, Align. First of all, I'm going to align to the middle. Then I'm going to distribute horizontally to ensure that everything is perfectly aligned. Okay, the next thing I want to do, I'm going to import our CAD visual to display our dashboard name, which I'm going to call employee compensation. Okay, so I want that to be in capital letter. Don't worry, I'm going to increase that. Okay, so employee compensation, I'm going to increase that, Control A. I'm just changing those templates. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to make it bold. And next thing I want to do, I'm going to turn off the background because we don't want that shown here. Let's turn off the background and adjust that to fit our screen. Okay. So here we go. All right, so for our charts now, we are going to start visualizing with our what? we're going to start visualizing our card visuals, okay? But before we go ahead, I would like to do some color contrast to my templates here, okay? So I want to use another color here. Let's see, 1941464, okay? All right, 194. All right, so we have that 1941464, okay? So now for our visualization, I'm going to go ahead and select our card visual here. And what I want to do, I want to start displaying what our total compensation, average salary, as well as our turnover rate, okay? So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and click on our total compensation here. Okay, so we should have a good amount here. So while we are waiting for that to load, okay, so we have 177.45 million as our total compensation over the period of time that we are currently working with, okay? Over the period of time we are currently working with. So I'm going to do some changes to our visual here to make sure it fits to the template we have in our background, okay? So I'm going to turn off our background first of all, and I'll be changing the size of our text within our dashboard just to make sure it fits. We're trying to make sure we find out everything that concerns this organization, which is the total amount they spend on compensation over the period of time. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and drag here. Don't worry, I'm going to make the necessary changes to that as well. So now I'm going to make effective changes on the values. Okay, so before I do that, let me just go ahead. Okay, I want to change the size to 30. Okay, and what else? The color to white since we have a contrasting background. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and change the text as well, the color of the text, okay, to white so we can see what's going on there. And one thing I also notice is that our value here is just a normal figure. We do not have it as currency and we are dealing with monetary terms here. So I'm going to click on this measure here again. And what I want to do, I'm going to click on the $ here and select the currency that we want to change this to. And we're going to be using the United States dollar, okay? Since we have dreams of earning in dollar, okay? We should also be motivated in visualizing in dollar. All right, so we're going to go ahead and visualize other templates as well. Okay, so I'm going to click on this, duplicate, and I'm going to start adding other information. But before I do that, I'm going to change the color back to black. Okay, so it's just color change, nothing complex. I'm going to use black here, and let's see, I'm going to use gray here. All right, so I want to change want to see the average salary. Okay, to do that, we can easily just come here and click on salary, our annual salary. Okay, same thing here. We still have a default. All right, so I'm going to make effect to that as soon as possible. All right, so how do we want to make this change? We'll be going into our table view. But before we do that, let's quickly visualize other columns as well, which is the number of employees, the head count of employees within the organization, and that is going to be this particular column here. Okay, I'm going to just change this head count. Okay, now that we have the head count, we finally are ready to see our turnover rate. Okay, we are ready to see our turnover rate. Okay, so I'm going to uncheck this and check this. Okay, so now we have our turnover rate as 46.95%. Okay, to ensure that this is actually correct, because when we're doing the calculation, we're trying to create distinct values and things like that. I'm just going to quickly visualize using the normal count that we have here. Okay, I'm going to uncheck this and I'm going to put the total employee ID and use the Power BI function that helps us to count distinct. So since we use the distinct count, I'm also going to put this in effect, count distinct, and see what we have. Okay, so we have a lot of repetition here, data errors here, which is why we always effectively use our DAX measure. Okay, so I'm going to use count here. I'll see what we have. Still the same thing, which means Power BI did not put anything in effect. So I'm just going to take it again and see if Power BI is going to do that. Okay, so this is why we use our DAX measure, the count distinct, all the duplicate values are present, and it is also counting what? It is also counting the employees that have left the organization as well. So you're not going to be seeing any difference from that, and you're not going to be getting any filters from that as well. Okay, so I'm going to drop that, all right? And like I said, we want to ensure that all our monetary values are showing in dollar. So I'll quickly go to my table view and make some enhancements to my salary column, okay? So because of our time, I'm just going to be working on the salary column very quickly so we can visualize the other data that we have here. Okay, so I'm going to click on the benefits here. Okay, salary, annual salary, and I want to add the dollar sign. Okay, so this should make effect and help us to also see the average salary in our data set. Okay. All right, so now we have our dollar figure here. So this is our total salary. We want to see the average. So I'm just going to make adjustment to the measurement here. And we have our average salary here. Okay, so the next thing we want to see the job titles with the highest compensation, the job titles with the highest compensation. Since we have some data attributes here that define department job title, as well as let's see, employee names as well. Okay, so we are going to be looking into all this. So the first thing we want to look at is job title. Okay, so I'm just going to click here and see and select another chart. I'm going to be using a clustered column chart to visualize this data. Okay, so I'm going to drag this here, let it fit into our visualization. Let me just raise this a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to let this fit into our visualization. All right, so this is just carefully ensuring that our visuals look great, as well as our analysis bring out the best in our analysis as well. Okay, so let me just drag this here. All right, so I want to select the job title column. Okay, and when I select that, I also want to use our calculation here for total annual calculation, our total annual compensation, sorry. Okay, so we have a list of job titles and we have all this compensation. Okay, so instead of having like up to 20, 30 job titles, we want to filter it down because we can't look at everything. We want to look at the top performers, okay? So we are going to filter it down to just the top 10. And to do that, we are going to use our filter bar here and quickly filter it down. Also, we also want to consider those that are still within the organization. So we'll be adding an additional filter instead of looking at salary of those that have left, okay, based on the information that is no longer relevant to the organization, but is still important, okay? So what we want to do here, we go to our job title, we go to basic filtering, go to our top N, all right? And we're going to say we want to see the top 10 job titles with the highest compensation. So the value we are going to be filtering by is going to be our total annual compensation. Okay, so I'm going to click apply filter. All right, so immediately I say apply filter, we're going to see the changes that are making effect in our visualization. The next thing I want to do here, I want to ensure that the information that we have here on job title is based on those that are still within the organization. So I'm going to come here, okay, and I'm going to say, let's see, apply filter of those. Okay, so I'm just going to use the termination date here. And what do I want to do here? I want to select for those that are blank. Okay, so I'm just going to select blank. Just show me based on the data of those that have not left the organization. That is what this filter is all about. Okay, so now I want to make sure that when someone is viewing my dashboard, they immediately see the figure of what is going on the bars. So I'm going to immediately adjust our bars here, just adjust everything to make sure that everything looks good and we can actually read into our data at first sight. Okay, so I'm just going to start turning off some of the data labels, and the information on the y-axis is no longer needed since I'm going to be turning on our data label. Okay, so I'll be increasing the size of that and making some necessary adjustments as well. Okay, so I want that to be a little bit bigger so that everyone can see what's going on there. Also, the unit is displayed in, I can see that we have $0.50, $0.49 million, and so on. So we want to make sure that it is not in millions anymore, but in thousands, since that is what we are dealing with here. Okay, so now that we have that, I also want to increase the size here, the color here to black. Okay, we have a good color base. I'm going to go ahead and start deleting or making enhancements to the color of our column, as well as the size of our x-axis as well. Okay, so what do I want to do here? I want to still implement the same color that we have on our visual 464. Okay, so here we go. All right, so finally, I want to make an adjustment to this text size that we have here, as well as the color. Let me quickly make that black and turn off the y-axis, because we already know here from the title that we are looking at the compensation job titles. Finally, want to ensure that our background is turned off. Okay, so this way we have a better use of our background templates as well. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, so we don't have to go back to the process of cleaning our data or changing the types of view that we have already. Okay, so I'm going to come here and drop this. I want to look at employees with the highest compensation. Let's just say top 5 employees with the highest compensation. And I'm going to do that by removing our job title and using our employee name. Okay, so I'm going to use our employee name here. Also, when you are doing something like this and the previous column already has a filter, ensure that you remove the filters that are not applicable to your new visual. So I'm going to remove the job title here. Okay, and I'm going to go to employee name. All right, and what I want to do, the same thing, I just want to see the top 5 employees, because there are a lot of employees in this organization currently. Okay, so I just want to see the top 5. All right, so here we have the top 5 by total compensation. I'm going to drag this here, total compensation, click apply, and we have our top 5 employees in the organization. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, let me just change the color just to make it a bit more fun. Okay, so I'm just going to use all right, so here we go. All right, so we have the total number of employees. Okay, so now we want to look at department, but we are going to be using a different kind of chart. Okay, we are going to be using a different kind of chart. All right, so I'm going to just expand this a little. All right, so I'll just duplicate this, Control C, Control V. All right, place this here. And I want to use a donut chart, okay, to display our department, okay? So I'm going to remove our employee name and use our department column here. So since we have less data attributes in our department, I think we can fit in all the information that is required for us here, okay? So the next thing I want to do, change the chart type to a donut chart while it's still trying to load in some of the data. I'm also going to remove this. Okay, so we have this here. We want to modify this chart very quickly. Okay, so I'm going to go to our slicer. I'm going to turn off our legend. Okay, and I'm going to be working on each of these colors as well. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, I want to change this. Okay. All right, so don't worry, I'm just going to create some color contrast to help us identify different parts of the columns, different parts of the data. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to use, let's see, marketing, increase the contrast to, let's say, light blue. Okay, a bit close to what we already have. I think this contrast is much more better. All right, so the next thing we want to do, since we don't have our legends anymore, how do we see our data? How do we see our data? We're quickly going to, bring in the values here. Okay, so we have our data label options and we have a list of labels. I'll click on all data labels and we have all our information here. We have our marketing, IT, sales, manufacturing, and research development. Okay, so now that we have that, we are good to go to visualize our next data. Okay, so finally, we are going to be looking at our trends over time of the individuals or the compensation that the organization has been awarding over the period of time, which we are going to be looking at our hiring date as a reference point of when the organization has started disbursing compensation. Okay, so I'm going to just adjust this to fit into what we are currently working with. And I'm going to be changing this into a line chart because the best way to look at a trend analysis is by looking at by using a line chart, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to remove the employee name here, also remove the filter that defines employee name. And we are going to be replacing that with our hiring date. Okay, so our hiring date, we have all these attributes here. I'm going to use the line chart. Okay, let me just use the aerial charts as well. Okay, so the aerial chart is obviously still a good option for us. One thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to start removing some of the attributes like day as well as months. Okay, we just want to have our quarter. Okay, so this is what we currently have here. I'm going to ensure that we have this in the right data type, in the right view type. So we have continuous. We want it to be in categorical. Reason because we also want to see our what, we also want to see our quarter. Okay, so we have a long list of data here. We have a long list of data, but we don't have anything to worry about. We are going to work on that very soon. We are going to see why we can still leave it this way. Okay, so I'm going to change the color and we are going to be implementing our filter, which is the last step that we're going to be taking in today's analysis. Okay, I'm going to turn on the marker, use the line function to ensure that our data is in the right color. Okay, So everything in our dashboard goes the same way. All right, so that is it. Shaded area. Okay. So finally, we are going to be using a filter, and our filter is going to be time-based, okay? Our filter is going to be time-based. So I'm just going to use the filter icon here, click on that, and drag it to the position that we want it to be, all right? Okay, so now we are going to be using what? Our dates column to fill this filter. Okay, this is what we have currently, but we are going to be changing that up. We want it to be in a list format. We don't want it to be in a drive. We want it to be in a list format, a drop-down format, sorry. Okay, so this is what we have here, all right? Okay, so I'm just going to do some formatting here to ensure that we have what we need. And I just want to have the year. Okay. And I'm going to filter out the year. Oh my God. All right, so let me just do that again. All right. Okay, so it will be easier for us to filter out a particular year. So we are just going to look at the last year in our analysis. So I'm just going to come here and click on 2023. Okay, so the year 2023, we are going to see how the performance have gone through all the quarters, okay, which is why I said we should just leave it that way. So I'm going to leave our filter, let's say in 2018. Let's see how that looks like. And I'm going to do some cleaning up for our filter as well, okay? So I want to do a final adjustment, and then we can look at some of the insights on our dashboard. All right, so here I'm going to clean up the value. I'm going to change this to color to this, okay? All right. And we also want to make sure our background is in sync with what we have currently. Okay, so I'm going to use this color here. And then our main background here, I'm going to also change that as well to this. All right, so here we have it. We have our complete dashboard, okay, being showcased here for us. Okay, so the last thing I want to do, I want to change the shape of our line chart, okay, because I read it much better in this particular shape, okay. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to just use the, I'm going to use the line settings here. I think I'm clicking on this. Okay, I'm under general, not visual. So I'm going to change that immediately. So our line chart linear, okay, I want it to be smooth. So it looks much better that way for me, okay. So here we are, we have our analysis. We can see what is going on our dashboard, okay. So we have successfully created an employee compensation analysis for this organization, where we can see that in 2018, they made a total sales of they paid a total compensation of 14,008,000, okay, and they also had an average salary of $80,000, okay, and an employee headcount of 75. That is the employee that actually finished the year with them, and a turnover rate of 50%, okay, which is over the normal average, okay. So we can also see the compensation by job title. We can see here that those that are a company secretary have earned more than even those that are in IT, okay, and those that are in education as well, okay. Bear in mind that this is a dummy data and not based on a real company's data, okay. So this is a dummy data to stimulate a real life scenario of calculating compensation. And these are some of the steps you can take in deriving insights into a company's data. So here we just have an overview helping us to see, based on a general site, to see some of the attributes in terms of job title, in terms of department, as well as employee name and total annual compensation. Then we also looked at the trends over time. So this is the year of 2018. We can see that due to the drop in employee, we also had a drop in compensation. Okay, so HR might have refused to hire more individuals, which is not something that is very good for this organization. Okay, they always need to hire more people and ensure that the organization is alive and well. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can give out as reports, looking at each of the analysis. Here we have our lowest compensated department as our our IT department. Okay, oh sorry, we have our sales department with 12%, followed by our IT department with 19%, and marketing department with a difference of, let's say, 40%, 0.40%. Then we have the manufacturing, and our highest paid department is research and development. Okay, so this is how we go about creating or interpreting our data sets from raw data into actual dashboards that help us to derive insights from our data. Okay, so this is how we go about it. I believe you guys enjoyed the process, and you are going to recreate this as well when you have your free time. Okay, so I don't know, Mr. Elijah, if you are still there, you can carry on.
All right, thank you very much, Mary. That was a spot on, and I don't know the word to use, a bombshelling session, actually. Please, if you really enjoyed the session by Mary, please drop a one in the chat. Let me see the one rolling in. Actually, this was very, very insightful, because I don't know how the magic happened from all those tables and all those things that we are seeing beautiful dashboards like this. That's very, very spot on, actually. Wow, honestly, you can see the one coming up. That's I said I was just thinking to myself, look as though I would, move my career from BA to HR analytics, because these numbers are very, very nice. Because looking at it now, I'm able to measure the number of employees according to compensation and benefits, having to track the department that have the highest number of compensation. And I'll get to see that, okay, it looks like we are neglecting this department over the other. And then we try to match up the figures, right? Makes sense. This is actually amazing, right? Okay, thank you very much, Mary. Let me quickly, move to the other part of the session by, introducing to everyone on the call how they can become, HR analysts just like Mary, right? Within, 3 months of, hands-on session. Right, so I'll just quickly share my screen. All right. Okay, we would have time for questions and answers. That will be, immediately after my presentation. I just have like 15 minutes to do this. And yes, so thank you very much, Mary. All right, just give me a minute. Okay, great. So I believe we all enjoyed the session by Mary. So you'll be asking, how do I become, an HR analytics professional, and who are these individuals, right? So basically, an HR analytics professional is someone that is responsible for, analyzing HR related data, right, and providing insights and recommendations, to improve HR strategies and processes. So you need to try to differentiate yourself from the normal, let's say, the normal HR professional, right? Because it's actually a fierce and competitive industry, right? So you want your boss to be able to know that, okay, you are not just the regular HR, you are more of a strategic HR, because you can read this data that your department emits, and provide solutions, or let's say and provide insights, just like what Mary just did. Because a lot of HR professionals, they just do these figures, having to track, they just try to monitor individuals that are taking leave in the office, blah, 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 try to do performance review and all of those things. Those are on paper, right? But you now being able to, visualize this data and, to be able to, take on strategic decision, right, with data, right? It's very, very fantastic, right? Because you'll be positioning yourself in a very strategic role, right? Where you can, share strategies and also, provide recommendations that would improve your organization's processes. This is a very fantastic stuff. And that's one of the many reasons why we always try to preach the word of analytics. Try to infuse analytics into your career path and see yourself, making tremendous success and even differentiating yourself from other colleagues within your organization. And a very true life story, anyways, with one of our students, within analytics, who is currently in Poland, right? And there was an opening within his firm, and he actually had gone through HR analytics within Tenalytics, right? So actually going through that interview process, he was singled out because he, alongside other colleagues, he himself alone had the HR analytics. He had data analytics attached to his experience, right? While others were just having conventional HR roles, experience, and their review. He had something that distinct himself, right? So I'm able to analyze this data that we emit from this department, and I'm able to make recommendation and insights. I'm able to forecast, right? Many a times we get to calculate, let's say, attrition. We get to measure attrition. But for HR analysts, you get this data of people that are leaving. You get to find the root cause of why people are leaving. What are the factors driving what are the factors that drive people to leave your organization, right? With analytics, you can get to see those things. You can get to see the drivers, and immediately you start to tackle those factors, right? And you can even get to see those factors predominant in some persons, and you know that, okay, this person is likely to leave. Why don't we just engage this person? So what can we do to ensure that we have more persons, stay within the company, right? So as an HR analyst, you are taking more of a strategic role, moving from mundane, moving from traditional role to a more strategic role within your organization, right? So yes, as an HR professional, you get to do this. I believe that's what we did today. Look, when your data is looking like this, you are moving your data from something of this nature, where you have rows, tables, and data view, to something of this nature, right? This is what we did today. The same data measuring employees' compensation and benefits, right? We moved from point A to point B. I don't know how, I believe this is very, very marvelous, because presenting this to your boss immediately gives us an insight already. We know that, okay, total annual compensation we do have in a year is $14.08 million, right? We spend this on compensation, and the number of employees within the company is 71, and our turnover rate is 53.59%. And you get to even see the job titles that earns the most compensation within the organization. And you also get to see how far compensation dropped, or let's say even rise, or let's say fell during the year. You see, Q1 we had high compensation, Q2 it kind of fell, Q3 it fell, and also Q4 it fell drastically, right? You get to even see the department that earns more. So having to do all of this analysis, you get to derive insights. You get to understand that, okay, are there departments we are neglecting, right? All of these things gives you the opportunity to make an informed decision and even informed judgment. You get so, and that's one of the reasons. So as an HR analyst, you get to convert data, which is point A, this data here, to insights, which is point B. All right. So yes, so over the past few months, we've had sessions on we've had various sessions on HR analytics. I'm going to share the slide immediately after the session. After the session, you get the slide and the resources. You can get to watch our previous sessions. We've had sessions on predicting employees' attrition. You can always get to click on this. So what we tried to do in this session was we identified key influencers, which are the key factors that drives people away from your company, or even makes people to leave. That's measuring attrition within the organization. So as an HR analyst, let's say you are working on this data and you are able to know, the factors that drive people away from the organization, immediately get to tackle it. You get to, you are making an informed decision. You are getting to the root cause of certain problems that you've identified, right? So yes, so that's with this. So moving on, what does it take to become an HR analytics professional? So because if I ask a lot of us, how can you become an HR professional? Or even when you go to YouTube or even Google, you would see 1001 processes, right? But with analytics, we try to structure it. When you learn with an accountability partner, right? You get to understand when you should do certain things and how you should do certain things, right? So we are going to handhold you towards becoming an HR analyst. So what will that take you? What process? How will the journey be like? That's what the analytics is here to do for you, right? So we have it. The key learning process, the key learning areas. Like I said, with analytics, it's actually a structured learning process. So number one, we've been introducing you to problem solving. Very, very key. As an analyst, wherever you find yourself in, you need to be able to understand how to solve specific problems, right? So with regards to problem solving, you get to identify the root cause of problems. Because if you don't identify root causes of problems, you can't provide solutions to them, right? So with regards to HR analytics, these are one of the key learning areas, problem solving. You need to be equipped with the techniques to solving problems. That's the first angle to getting started as an HR analyst. Yes, you're going to do data analytics, right? So HR analytics is a combination of HR and data analytics. The combination of what? HR and data analytics. So to be able to measure or even make sense of people's data, you need to be able to understand analytics, because you will be driving and drawing insights from whichever data you would be working with regards to people's information, right? So yes, you need to learn Excel. We'll be putting you through that. Excel, you need to learn Excel. You need to learn Power BI. You need to learn SQL, right? And what we all need to know is that Excel is a very versatile tool, right? There is no organization that would not require you to know the use of Excel. Even logistics departments, even the sales departments, even anywhere, name it, you must always use what? Excel. And yes, within HR analytics, you'll be learning Excel for what? For analytics. Excel for what? Analytics, right? So just like what we just did today, right? Few minutes ago, Power BI for analytics, right? You would be able to draw insight from those data and make sense of your data, right? And also SQL. So every organization has where they store their data, right? And with SQL is a database management system that interacts with data, right? So to be able to interact with the database of every organization, you need to be able to learn SQL, right? Structured query language, where you get to interact with the different databases where data are being stored within an organization, right? So when you are done with SQL, you need to learn HR analytics and performance evaluation, right? So you are no longer doing the paper and pencil kind of evaluation again. You're now visualizing and drawing insight from them, right? You also learn HR metrics. So what should we be looking at when we are measuring performances, right? What should we be looking at when we want to measure attrition? What should we be looking at when we are measuring, absenteeism within an organization, right? You would be learning that within the HR analytics program. You'll be moving on to HR analysis and dashboarding. What we just did right now is called dashboard. So we're able to build fantastic dashboards, cutting across attrition, cutting across compensation, cutting across benefit, cutting across absenteeism, right? And you move on to collaboration and report automation, right? Just like I said, you are moving on from a mundane aspect of HR down to a strategic aspect, right? We don't want to do things we don't want to just do things in a mundane way again. We want to be able to automate our reports, even if when we are not around, we input certain figures, it reflects in our reports, right? Even someone who does not know HR data can relate immediately when he or she sees our data, right? Report automation, very fantastic, making life easy, right, for HR professionals, right? You'll be learning that collaboration and report automation. You'll also be learning how to build your case and creating action, right? Very, very key, because we would not just teach all these things. A lot of us who are doing analytics today, we did not just start. We're not just born with those toolkits, right? We went through all these processes and we were able to build our own first case, right? You will build your first case and also create action, take action with regards to the insights you have been able to build. Like I said, we're trying to distinct our participant from every other participant that will be doing any analytics in any other program, right? And that's why we've introduced ChatGPT for analytics. If you've been following analytics closely over the past month, we've been having a series of sessions with regards to how you can leverage ChatGPT for analytics, right? So as an HR professional, you should be able to leverage AI. AI is here to help us make our work easy and not to just take our jobs away, right? So when you are able to leverage on these toolkits, you become a smart individual. You become a strategic individual. You begin to take strategic decisions within the HR department. Yes, so the prices and salaries here in the UK, Canada, and the USA. So these prices are actually the average price one can earn as an HR analyst in the UK, and an HR analyst in Canada, as an HR analyst in the United States, right? So as an HR analyst within the UK, you can earn on an average 32,500 pounds, right? As an HR analyst in the UK, right? As an HR analyst in Canada, on an average, I mean, you can go above and beyond these figures, but averaging it, you can earn on an average in Canada 71,230,000 pounds. And all these processes to getting jobs are always being shared within the analytics program, right? So yeah, so how long does it take to become an HR analyst? I know a lot of persons are asking this question, right? So within the analytics program, to get started as an HR analyst, you would go through a 4-month intensive training, right, with analytics, right? A 4-month intensive training with analytics. So you're going to train for 3 months. Then you do a growth virtual internship for a month. So 3 months will prep you, will groom you, will hold your hands through this process, down from problem solving down to ChatGPT for analytics. You'll be working on real life case studies. I mean real life case studies from diverse industry HR data. You would be working. I'll be showing you some of the projects you'll be working on, as we move on in this session, right? So yes, once you are done with the training, you get certified, you do your capstone presentation, and you get certified as a master HR analyst, right? Then you then go on to do your 1-month virtual growth internship with analytics, right? So this internship, what we've come to do is we've now merged all of our programs together. So you'll now be doing a joint growth internship. It means that you'll be working with data analysts, you'll be working with business analysts, you'll be working with data scientists, you'll be working with data engineers, you'll be working with the financial analysts within the program. So a joint internship where you would be able to work on case study, real life case studies, and present your solutions to key stakeholders within analytics, right? So yes, you'll be working on Excel, Power BI, SQL, like I made mention of within the program. So yes, so how does our classes run? So how does our classes run? So yes, classes are for Saturdays, live classes, right? Like I made the mention of, you'll be working on real life case studies, practical case studies. You're not coming there to talk and say stories. Actual practical, just like what we just did today. You're working on practical case studies. So we have sessions in the morning spanning from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. So 11 a.m. down to 2 p.m. West African time, they're having the live classes. Then on Sundays, for what we call the self-paced Watch Me Do It video, right? So the Watch Me Do It video prepares you for the next live class. Like I said, the live classes are actually for projects, actually for practical hands-on training. So then on Sunday, what we try to do is we present you to the concepts that will be taught the following Saturday. So try to get yourself acquainted to this concept, because on Saturday, we'll be having a live practical session. So let's say we'll be looking at VLOOKUP, or let's say SUM, or let's say some other basic, formulas within Excel. So we would have prepared you on Sunday with the videos, self-paced. You watch it in anticipation of the class the following Saturday. Then on Saturday, you then do a practical session, a live practical session with your facilitator. You can always reach out to your facilitator and draw them back in places where you do not get clarity on, just like we are doing today, right? So moving on. All right, so a lot of persons always make this mistake, right? So you feel probably when you are done as an HR analyst, you probably just apply for roles as an HR analyst. No, that's not the case, right? So you get to apply for different roles. One, as an HR analyst, fantastic, right? You don't just apply for HR analyst because there are different diverse nomenclature within the HR space. You can also apply as an HR data analyst. You can also apply as a talent acquisition analyst. You can also apply as a diversity and inclusion analyst. You can also apply as a performance management analyst. You can also apply as an HR analytics consultant. You can also apply as a compensation analyst. You can also apply as a workforce planning, analyst, right? So you're not just applying as an HR analyst. There are other several job titles you can always fit in, just learning HR and analytics together, right? So let's move on. So this actually the curriculum for the class. Like I made mention of, at the end of the class, you would have built over 6 IN projects, right? So number one of the course is problem solving, like I made mention of. So you would have to learn the different techniques with regards to finding root cause of a problem. Because if you do not find root cause, how do you intend to solve, the problem? How do you intend to get solutions? There are techniques to this, right? So you get to, define problem, the Chris DM approach, the 5 whys, right? Where you get to ask questions 5 times. Ask why did this happen, right? 5 times before get to the root cause and to be able to provide solution to the identified problem, right? You get to also design issue trees. So issue tree is also a way to finding root cause of problems. You also do the McKinsey approach to problem solving. You also do the prioritization metrics to problem solving, right? So you move on after that problem solving class, then move on to what? Analytics. Excel for what? Analytics. Like we always say, it's actually a beginner's friendly class. It's actually a beginner's friendly class. You can see for the Excel for analytics, we are beginning with introduction to what? Excel. Introduction to Excel. After that, you do data manipulation. After that, you do data modeling. After that, you do data visualization. Same thing goes for what? Power BI. You get to see the beginning of the class is what? Introduction. Introduction to what? Power BI. Then you move on to data manipulation. Then you move on to data visualization. Then publishing your own BI dashboard, right? Same thing goes to what? SQL. Introduction to what? SQL, creating a database, writing a data query language, joint aggregation and function and data view, right? So you get to see that all of what this technical aspect has to do with introduction. We start from ground zero, then drive you to an advanced level. You get to see this one too as well. The next in your curriculum would be HR analytics and performance evaluation. Also, introduction to HR analytics, HR and data analytics, types of analytics, use of data for HR performance and what? Evaluation, right? So you move on there move on and on and on till you get to, the end of the program with regards to building your case and creating what action, where you get to then do ChatGPT and HR analytics, right? So, like I said, so these are actually the average price in each of this country. As a data analyst, you'll be averaging over 32,500 pounds in the UK. You can always go as high as 42K, can always go as high as 50K. So it depends on the kind of role and kind of experience you are bringing to what the table, right? Because organizations always want to hire individuals that have experiences. And that's why the program is designed for you in that way. Because before you are done with the program, you'd have gotten over 6 high-end projects attached to your name, right? Attached to your name. So in Canada, you get to average a salary of over 71,000 Canadian dollars. And in the US, you get to average over $62,000. You can always go back to do research. So we've also done a couple of research. What also spurred us to keep pushing the mantra for Africans and people of the Black community to get these tech skills is because in 2020, the Canadian government released a data with regards to how immigrants get jobs, right? And the Canadian government released 25,000 jobs, right? 25,000 jobs, and the data was there. So the data was there. You can go online to search on this data with regards to the jobs gotten by immigrants, foreign immigrants. 25,000 was released, and with regards to the IS, only Nigeria featured as the only African country that was able to scoop a number of just 1,800 jobs, right? And we came number 2 on that list, right? So the first country was Indians. And you would agree with me that a lot of Indians, if you get, especially within the tech space, Indians help themselves a lot, right? They help themselves a lot, and they're able to scoop around 15,000 jobs, 15,000 out of 25,000 jobs. We Nigerians were able to just get 1,800 jobs, right? So that's a far cry from what we can do, we Black people can do, or let's say people of the Black community. A lot of the times when we go abroad, we don't get strategic jobs. We always try to fall back on probably being a truck driver, or probably being featuring within the healthcare, taking jobs like healthcare and the rest, right? And why is that? It's because we do not arm ourselves with the necessary skills, to present in the foreign market. Because these guys abroad, they want individuals that have the experience, you have the skill set, and you can, perform for us, right? So why don't we equip ourselves today, then move on or transition into a different, let's say, a different country, and instead of we taking all of these jobs, we take strategic jobs. We see ourselves in strategic positions, making decisions within certain, communities, right? And that's why you should train with analysis. So why should you train with analysis, right? Very, very easy. We have up-to-date curriculum, right? We have up-to-date curriculum. The curriculum we used in 2022 is quite different from what we are currently doing in 2023. You get to see that we introduced ChatGPT to our program. So we are up to date in the industry to what the industry needs. And industry experts with hands-on experience. You'll be training with individuals like Mary, you'll be training with individuals like Adeza Ife. They have over a decade experience. So, summing up all those experiences, you'll be having like over 30 years of experience, training you, to becoming an HR professional, right? So we have a blended training, delivery to accommodate everyone, right? So individuals that would not be able to meet up with the class, you get to have the recordings for each session. The live classes are always just like this, right? After the class, there's always the recording being presented to you. You can always fall back at these recordings. The resources are always presented to you. You can always fall back on your resources within the classroom. So if time permits, I would walk us through how we integrate participants through the classroom, through our resources, right? So we also have additional employability services. not just limited to the tech skills you will learn, the Excel, Power BI, SQL, and JRaview. We also provide you with a toolkit to getting this job. Where can you get this job? So I'll be showing us that in the next slide, right? And we also have an internship designed to simulate the real work experience. You measure all of this together, you definitely will be landing a job as a what? Master HR analytics professional. So let's quickly run you through with the other aspect of it, which is the additional employability services we offer within the program. So what are the other 50%? We always say the 50% of the program is the technical, or let's say are the technical bits of it, which is Excel, Power BI, and all. So you've learned all these skills. So how do you intend to present yourself to the job market? How would employees, or let's rather employers, find you with this skill set? Right? How can you present yourself? Number one, the CV review sessions. I believe a lot of us here are HR professionals, and you get to know CVs are always being skimmed. Before the CV even gets to me as an HR professional, AI must have done its job. We must have sieved out CVs that are not relevant to the job description, right? And so within the program, we will run you through what we call the CV review sessions. You should be able to draft a fantastic CV in line with the job description. If your CV is not meeting up to the job description, forget it. It's going to be thrown into the bin. Let's say the online bin now, because industries now make use of what we call the applicant tracking system. That's the ATS system. So many times when you see you apply for jobs, you don't even get called at all. You just get rejected immediately. The one your CV does never match with the JD of the organization or with the role they are looking for. Right. So how do you intend to tie your CVs to the job description? So that's where we have the CV review sessions. We have those sessions every month, to run you through how you can present your CVs and apply for jobs and get called up for interviews, right? So number two is the LinkedIn optimization session. Fantastic, because the recruiter immediately gets to check on your CV immediately once I get to see your name, and that's something that I do. Now, I'm not even a recruiter yet, but that's what I do. So once I get to see your name, okay, Marianne, and then I just go online to go and search, who is this person at all? Does this person, have the qualities of occupying that, that JD? Or let's say, is this person the real self of what I'm seeing on the CV? Right? Because some persons can lie on their CVs and, the public opinion of them, or let's say that their LinkedIn profile does never say anything about being an HR analyst. Right. So that's why within our program, you can probably just go online on LinkedIn, try to type in Tenalytics, hashtag Tenalytics. You get to see what our students are doing. You need to have an online blueprint. Or any organization that's going online will need you to have an online blueprint. So with LinkedIn optimization, you get to optimize your profile, you get to optimize your bio, and you get to start making use of LinkedIn to push out content with regards to being an HR analyst. The world needs to know that you have this skill set, right? And you're ready to unleash it on any data you find yourself in, right? So we also have what we call the LinkedIn optimization session. So for individuals that do not want to work the normal 9-to-5 jobs, right? That's fine. You want to work remotely from the comfort of your homes. That's no issue. You can do that making use of the Upwork, right? So you tend to optimize your Upwork account just like LinkedIn. With Upwork, you get to receive remote jobs. You get to apply for 1,001 remote jobs. Upwork is the hub for remote opportunities, right? So you can be in Nigeria, in London, and be working for a company in Canada, right? I would share some of the success stories of how some of our participants were able to secure tech jobs, remote tech jobs, just at the comfort of their cubicle in London. Some of them in, let's say, in Lagos. You get to see all of those testimonials towards the ending of the session, right? Yes, so you'd agree with me that the job market in Nigeria and the job market in Canada are quite different, right? The job market in Nigeria and Canada are quite different. So you should be able to know how to navigate the job market in the UK, wherever you find yourself in. We'll be running you through that process of navigating the job market in Nigeria, in Canada, in the UK, or wherever you find yourself in. So, all right. Also, we also provide reference and recommendation letter. We try to, we pride ourselves in this. We can always boost for our students. Anyone that has gone through our program, we boast to their employers and say that this person went through our program, and we can say that he or she has been able to harness the skill set of an HR analyst, has been able to go through the program and is equipped, and is furnished with the right tools, to become an HR analyst within your job, your business operation, right? So for individuals that have applied, because always we do this, once it is 2 weeks into the training program, we start pushing you to start applying for jobs, because Excel is a leveler, right? Like I said at the beginning of the conversation, Excel is what a leveler. So once you have Excel, forget it. You can apply for any analytics job, because every analytics job will require you to have an Excel experience. There's no organization that does not make use of Excel. Right? So you learning Excel alone gives you that edge, and you can start applying for jobs. So when you apply for those jobs, we don't just leave you hanging, right? We tell you, come over, work and apply for interview preparatory sessions. Would love to prepare you for your interviews. We would love to prepare you for the job interviews that you've gotten. We don't just allow our students just go like that to interviews, because we have been able to, we know the ropes of this interview. You need some certain keywords, and to be able to build your confidence level, right? When in interviews. So these interview preparatory sessions are designed to make you confident, walk you through the case study that probably must have been presented to you, before the interview session, right? So we also have what we call the weekly mentorship sessions. This always happens on Thursday evenings. This happens on Thursday evenings. So mentoring is very, very key, because you are just passing through you are just embarking on this journey. You need someone that will unfold you, someone who has gone through the process before, right, and can foresee when there is danger. We don't just leave our students hanging, right? We mentor you throughout the 4 months and even beyond. And that's where the on-job support comes into place. We have had a lot of students that have always come back to us. They've been analytics. My job that is secured, they just presented me with this data. So how do I get to do this? Right? We provide this on-job support for them. We don't just leave you hanging, and that's why there's an alumni community, an active alumni community. So yeah. So how does the internship go? It's actually a 1-month free internship, right? When you're done with the program, you get to have an internship with other colleagues. It's a joint internship, right? With data analysts, with data scientists, with data engineers, with financial analysts, and their review, right? So these are some of the projects that some of our students have worked on, right? You can always go online to look at this project. Like I said, use the hashtag Tenalytics. You get to see beautiful dashboards our students have been building and drawing insights from them. So this is an HR analytics dashboard that was done by Deborah Tolu Lokpe, right? You can get to see follow Tolu Lokpe on that, Deborah Tolu Lokpe on LinkedIn. You get to see the post. We provided that in the slide. You can always go through that. So Adedeji Adeoye, did this dashboard. That's the HR attrition dashboard, right? You can always go through this project to get to see what some of the students have been able to do over the past couple of months joining the program. So this is a recruitment dashboard being done by Thompson, by Olufemi. This is a dashboard done by him. So there are various dashboards being done, right? So it's a 4-month learning journey, 3-month project-based live classes. Then when you are done with the live classes, you work on your capstone project. When you're done with that, you do a 1-month virtual internship. And actually, it's an 100% virtual instructor-led classes, just like what we are currently doing today. And classes hold on Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and on Sundays with a self-paced watch me do it video at any time, you would be chanced, right? So these are some of the facilitators that will be putting you through the training. You have Emmanuel. Emmanuel is the head of HR resources with Pedabo. Pedabo is one of the top accounting firms in Nigeria. So you'll be having, you'll be opportunity to be trained by Emmanuel. So this is Joseph. Joseph as the HR partner with IBM. Also Adeza Suleiman, the founder of Analytics. Also Mohammed Suleiman, who is a senior data associate at Analytics. So Suleiman has over 5 years experience as a data analyst and also data scientist, right? So you'll be taught by some of these wonderful individuals, Oladapo, Olubemi, right, who is a business data analyst with the Law Depot in Canada. So there are many, many facilitators that you'll be trained throughout the program. You can always go through the slide when it is shared, right? So this is one of our students, Victor. Victor went through the analytics program. I was able to get a job before even getting done with the training program, right? You can always go back to watch this testimonial by Victor. So Victor got to secure a job as a people operations analyst. Like I said, you just be going through the HR analytics program does not mean that you just be doing only HR analytics. You can only apply for HR analyst jobs. You can always apply for the different nomenclatures within the HR industry, right? So like for Victor now, Victor was able to get a job before the end of the program with Ugo. Ugo is a firm in Canada, and he was actually he's currently residing in Lagos, and he works as an operations, that's the people operations analyst with Canada. Yes, so that's that for Victor. You can always go through the slide to look at this, and also Adebola and some of the students' feedback, right? So where can I apply for these jobs? And these are some of the things we train you on within the program, right? We show you how you can get jobs easily within the UK, in Canada, in the US, at the comfort of your homes, right? So we'll show you through getting job with Indeed, UK Hired, Google for Jobs, Read.uk, even on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has helped a lot of persons secure remote jobs, right, within Tenalytics, right? So where can I apply for jobs in Canada? I'm not going to digress much into this, because this is what we actually train our participants on, right? And also get jobs in Canada in Indeed, also via LinkedIn, via Google for Jobs, also via ZipRecruiter. Very, very key. And even Government of Canada also offer jobs through their job bank, right? So yes, so for jobs, remote jobs, like I made mention of, you get to see Upwork here, Flex Jobs. Indeed also offers remote jobs, also LinkedIn, even Glassdoor, right? So within the program, we show you how you can apply for these jobs and where you can get these jobs. So yes, how do I get started with the program? The next cohort starts on the 4th of November, 2023. So on the 4th of November is a Saturday. On Saturday, that's November 4th, the next cohort will begin. So I believe that a lot of us would want to know the pricing. This is actually the pricing for the program, 400,000 naira, or you will be making the payment in pounds. That's 400 pounds for the program. And you can make payments in 2 installments, right? The first installment being 250 pounds, or 150 pounds, or 250,000, and the second installment being 150,000. So this is actually the original price for the training program. That's 400,000 naira, or 400 pounds that you'll be making a payment for, right? But for the first 20 persons currently on the call, we've been asked to provide a 20% a discount for the first 20 participants that are currently on the call. So within the 48 persons that are on the call, for the first 20 persons to catch up on this discount, we will be getting a discounted rate of 300,000 naira. So instead of you making a payment of 400,000 naira, you'll be making a payment of 300,000 naira, and that's 100,000 naira off the original price, just for the first 20 persons currently on the call, right? Once the first 20 gets filled up, we revert back to the original fee of 400,000 naira. So yeah, so if you'll be making the discounted payment in pounds, you'll be making a payment of 300 pounds. If you're making a payment in Canadian dollars, you'll be making a payment in 500 Canadian dollars. Like I said, you get the opportunity to pay in 2 installments. So you can, if you cannot, outrightly pay now, you can always split the bills. The first part installment, 4 naira payment is 200,000 naira, and the second part payment is 100,000 naira, right? But if you are making payments in pounds, you'll be making a payment of 200 pounds and 100 pounds second payment, which will be made to a month, into the program. So the first 20 persons to register for the program gets to enjoy 100,000 naira off the price. So instead of you making a payment of 400,000 naira, you'll be making a payment of 300,000 naira. And yes, you can pay via the PayPal and Paystack. I believe my colleague must have shared that. In the chat, please. Yes, so my colleagues have shared that in the chat. So you can always make payment via the PayPal and Paystack link. I would show us how we can, utilize this link to make payment. So it's just open for the first 20 persons. For the first 20 persons, instead of you making a payment of 400, you'll be making a payment of what? 300,000 naira. And yes, you can pay via direct transfer using the UK account or the Nigerian account. So I've been informed that we have testimonials. Some of our students that have gone through that are currently on the program would want to share their their insight, or let's say their experience of how the program have gone thus far. You can get to see, before that, you can get to see the account details boldly written on the screen. You can make payment for using the UK account details, right? Using Wise, or you can reach out to any of the numbers stated on the screen. So when you make payments, you reach out to any of the numbers and it will provide the link for you to upload your receipt through this system. That's the link here, https://mainstack.me/enroute-analytics. You can also pay via that link and also upload your receipt via this link, right? So for the first 20 persons, you make a payment through the account number and the link that has been sent in the chat session, just for the first 20 persons. And if you need the account details for direct transfer, it has been displayed on your screen and also being shared by my colleague in the chat session. So the discount is actually for the first 20 persons to register. Ensure to jump on the discount right away. I will move on to Priscilla. Hello, Priscilla, are you there?
Hi, Alex. Yes, I'm here.
All right, awesome. I believe we have some of the students that would want to share their experience with regards to how the classes have gone.
Yes, we have Mr. Kehinde Koka. Hi, Mr. Kehinde. Good evening.
Right. So can he come on board so I can probably just spotlight him? Can't find Kehinde on the call yet.
Koka Kenny, that's his name on the call. So.
Okay. Let me bring him on board. Make him
give him permission to unmute.
Right, just a minute.
All
right, over to you. Yeah, awesome, Koka. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah,
how have you been?
Well, I'm just pushing. Do you mind? Okay, awesome. So I can just spotlight you now.
All right.
Great. Yes, awesome.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kehinde Kuka. I joined the April cohort. And before I joined analytics, I had some questions on my mind on what exactly I wanted to do. I've been hearing about data analytics. All right. But I knew I didn't want to get into the hardcore stuff because most times I see all those kind of Python, R, and the moment I see it, I just go in the other direction. Why? Because I felt it was too complex. But when I stumbled onto analytics, what was amazing was the way they broke down the courses. So when I discovered HR analytics, I actually have a master's in HR. It really did make sense when I saw the advert and it states there, Excel and Power BI. For me, that was simplified. I mean, that's simplified stuff. So I also wanted flexibility. If you're the kind of person that you're out there and you're not willing to go to physical classes, yes. So the flexible learning is what made me pick Tenalytics. But what is also most important, if you understand in the world of the business world, is reference. Who's referencing you? All right. So I did my little research on Tenalytics and discovered that, yes, they really did have presence. Okay. So I felt it was going to be a good thing. So that's why I picked Tenalytics. Now, guess what? From what was my experience like during the courses? I think many people, for me, I love to watch me do videos. It's flexible. It's for Sundays. You can do it in the morning, afternoon, and night, straight to the point. All right. Simple enough. Anyone can catch up on it. And if you need clarification, yes, Saturday class would be the best time to actually iron those things out. So for me, the experience with analytics makes a whole lot of sense. But you might be wondering, is 3 months enough for me to learn all I need to learn? To be honest with you, yes, it is. But you will need to put in the work, practice. Well, I had Excel experience, but I had colleagues who probably never used Excel before they joined analytics. And at the end of it all, we're all able to build all those dashboards that you were seeing. I noticed you posted Olufemi's screen. I noticed you posted Yelaifa. Those were people in my cohort. And yes, we all did it well. So if you're out there and you're looking forward to, a remote job or, you're Japa inclined, I want to believe this platform is one of the best for you. All right. So I think that's about it. If you have any inquiries, the teachers are very easy to relate and work with. I found some of them very helpful during my time, and that was actually what helped me. So for me, I didn't have any regrets coming into Tenalytics. Then one more thing, yes, you might be wondering, especially if you're in Nigeria, that you'll be paying close to 300K. All right, is it actually worth it? Yes, it will be worth it. It was worth it for me. It was worth it for me. So that'll be all. Elijah, over back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Kenny. I really love the process. It makes sense, and it was very, very nice for you to identify some of your colleagues' dashboard. And yes, you did masters. You said you are currently doing a masters, or you did masters in HR, but this was a step further, in being strategic, trying to differentiate yourself apart from other HR professionals within the space. Right. So please, guys, if you are yet to jump on this offer, immediately I'll project my screen again. Let's jump on the offer for the first 20 persons that would be taking advantage of this. Would be getting a discount of 100,000 naira off the price, right? And it's just open for the first 20 persons. The first 20 persons are opportune to just get this discount. For the first 20 persons, you'll be getting 100,000 naira off the price. 100,000 naira off the price, so you'll be making a payment of 300,000 naira. And for pounds, payment in pounds, you'll be making a payment of 300 pounds instead of 400 pounds, right? And for payment in Canadian dollars, you'll be making a payment of 500 Canadian dollars. And you can always make payments in 2 installments, right? You can always make payments in 2 installments, right? So This is actually, you know, some of the testimonials from our students. You get to see Victor Oyeshino. You can go on LinkedIn and get to connect with Victor Oyeshino and let him share with you his story on how he got a job as a people operations analyst in Chicago, Illinois. That's right, with Hugo. Hugo, a full-time job, remote job with Hugo in Chicago, right? As a people operation analyst. You get to see that you don't just apply for jobs like HR analyst. There are other nomenclatures you can always apply for jobs, right? So after his training with analytics within the HR training program, he got to secure a job as a people operation analyst with Hugo, right? So you get to meet also Maureen. Maureen got a full-time job with TELUS International in Canada as an HR data analyst. You see some of the nomenclatures picturing here again. Going through just going through the HR analytics program with analytics, she was able to land a job with TELUS International Canada as an HR data analyst. You get to also meet Thelma. Thelma landed a job in the UK as an HR analyst after going through the HR analytics training program, right? So when you get a slide, you can always go on and on to even watch some of the videos of these individuals, right? So this Hikmat moved from a full-time stay-at-home mom in the UK to landing her first job as a data analyst with full sponsorship in the UK, right? So let's see, let me try to, you know, project Hikmat's story and show to us. Just give me a minute. Let me try to show that to everyone. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Can anyone see my screen? Priscilla, can you see the screen? Hello.
Yes, I can see the.
All right, great, awesome. So let's listen to, that's fine. Let's listen to Hikmat's story, moving from a full-time stay-at-home mom to landing 2 tech jobs in the UK after going through our program. So let me bold in this. Okay, awesome. So we can clearly see.
Hello, Elijah. We can't seem to hear anything.
Wow, okay, wow. Just give me a minute. I should have told me a long time ago. So I'll try to share my screen again. All right. Okay. So let's start again. So sorry about that.
Hi everyone, my name is Hikmat and I was with the March cohort in Tenalytics, and joining Tenalytics has been the best decision so far.
I believe it's fine now, right?
You know, for me, someone coming from a background of full housewife, because I had to stay at home to look after my child for 4 years, and then wanting to break into something new, wanting to go back into the workforce, you know, wanting to place myself in the society for better job opportunities. So it was a lot. And then I'm glad that Tenalytics came along, and then they presented me with so many opportunities right in front of me, better opportunities. And then I'm glad I took it. And then also the advice of do not sell yourself short, that Effie is always saying, it is very, very valid, because place yourself right, you know, don't sell yourself short. It's a very, very, very valid advice. You know, in Tenalytics, they will hold your hands like a child, you know, through the modules. You have the opportunity to go back and study. You have the opportunity to go back and practice. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You know, you have people you can always go back to, even outside of class hours. It's the most amazing experience so far, really. And then another thing is the interview prep, guys. That is another very important thing. I did my interview prep with Mr. Mohammed, and it is the best decision ever, because it was like he saw into the future. He knew what was going to be asked. And I'm glad that I wrote down all the things he mentioned. I went back to practice, and then when it was time for the interview, it was like everything he was mentioning, everything he mentioned, it was just, they kept on. And then when I was answering those questions, I was so confident, because I already practiced. I did an Excel test, I did a maths test, and then they were really impressed. And another thing is, guys, it may not come as fast as you expect. Definitely, you are going to get some no's, and then you may begin to think you're not good enough. You are good enough, yes. The no's will come, but always take it as a basis for learning and development, because after every interview where I got a no, I always make sure I get a personal feedback. So I work on those feedbacks for my next interviews. And yes, it worked. It really worked for me, because I got my first job 3 months into the program, my first job. But I couldn't take up the job because I was a student and I was only eligible to work 20 hours. So I couldn't take up the job. 3 months later, I got 2 jobs with full visa sponsorship. And guys, all the other no's before the 2 jobs prepared me for the yeses I got. So yes, the no's will come, but do not give up, because you always have Tenalytics to go back to. They are the best and the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then yes, and they are the most affordable one I've come across so far, and that's a very good advantage. So yes, Tenalytics for the win.
All right. So Tenalytics, what for the win? So if you will be joining us in the next cohort from November 4th, you need to jump on a discount right away and get started. So instead of you making a payment of 400,000, you get to make a payment of 300,000 naira. So let me just quickly draw that slide in a bit. Okay. All right. So instead of you making a payment of 400, you get to make a payment of 300,000 naira, and you can make a payment into installments. Right. So if you have any questions, I believe it's the right time for you to ask a question, and I'll be willing to take as
good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tenalytics Masterclass. And I'm happy to be your host for today. My name is Bella Shukrat, and I'm a senior data associate at Tenalytics. I have up to 5 years experience.
All right, so if you have further questions, do let me know that we can draw up a close to the session. Okay, all right, over to you, Doing Sola. I believe, Doing Sola, you can go ahead to unmute yourself. Yeah. Hello, Doing. Doing. Are you still there? Okay, I'm asking you to unmute now. So please go ahead to unmute yourself and ask your question. Doing Shola. Okay. All right. So I believe if there are no further questions, please ensure. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I believe we can. Yeah. So go ahead, please.
Myself before now.
Yeah. What do you say?
I said I couldn't unmute myself before now, even though I tried.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. No problem. You can go ahead now.
Okay. Please, I wanted to ask, when is the next cohort going to be? I mean, after the November one. I mean, for some of us, I might not be able to join the November cohort. When is the next training going to be? Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that question. So actually it's a monthly program, right? So we try to do every cohort every first Saturday, but we do not I cannot guarantee that there might be a December cohort yet, right? Because of, we'll try to wrap up the year, but you can, make payment to secure your discount now. Still, further information will be shared with regards to if there's going to be a December cohort or let's say a January cohort, right? So you can also secure your discounts now at the moment and get started with Tenalytics. Yeah, I believe that answers the question. Does that work for you, Doing? Can you hear me? Can I get the feedback from her? I think you have to mute again. So I'm trying to unmute you now.
Okay.
All right, so, okay.
Yes, because you said the minimum payment, if we'll be paying now is, from what I can see on the screen, I think the first payment is supposed to be 200.
Yes, the first payment is 200. Then you can make the second part payment a month into the training program. That's 100,000 naira.
Slots for the next one, or is this still going to be for this November one?
Okay. So yeah, you can secure a discount for the December cohort right now. You can secure a discount now, making payments now. So in the registration form, you get to see when the next cohort is. So I'll be walking everyone through the registration process in a bit. Right. So once you click on Pay with PayPal and Paystack, that's the main stack link. Once you click on it, you get access to this. So let me see. Please let me know if you can see the next interface that pops up. Can you see this interface where you see Tenalytics enrollment details? Priscilla, can you see this? I need a feedback so I can know I'm on the right track.
I'm still seeing the slide, Elijah.
All right, so let me try to share this, okay? So once you click on that main stack link, you get to see this slide, right? You get to see this slide. So I believe it's up now. You get to see this slide. You see the Tenalytics enrollment details. That gives you the opportunity to make payment to whichever payment options, right? At the first of the link here, you'd see get access to all program brochure. Once you click on this link, on this button, you get access to all the training program brochure, where you get to see the start of the program down to its finish point. So where will you be beginning from in your training program down to the, how the program will end, right? So you can make your initial and full payments here. So let's say you make your payments here, you'll be uploading your receipts on this. So let's just scroll down. You get to see the different card payments, right? If you want to make payment via Naira, your Naira card, you can make payments here. So you click on this. Once you click on it, gets you into another interface where you can make payments for any of the programs. And for HR Analytics, you scroll down here to make your payments, right? So you click on it, you can make payment, the part payment, full payment, there are you, which will give you, so let it load. So it's going to give you 300,000 naira, or you can make your part payment of 200,000 naira, right? So that's that for the pay stack. You can always make payments for individuals in the UK. You can make payments via the non-Naira card payment platform. So you get access to Pounds PayPal for all of the other programs aside data engineering, right? So you can make full payments here of that's 300 pounds, right? You click on full payments, gets you here to this interface where you can directly make a payment online for your Pounds payments, right? For individuals that want to make the first part payment, you click on the first part payment to make your transaction. You get the 200 pounds part payment, right? So let's say you are done. So for individuals that also want to do direct transfer, you see direct transfer at the end of the link. So let's say you made your payment and you want to upload your receipts. So the second button on the link is upload your initial and full receipts here. So you click on it. All right, so I've been signed out of my Google account. So let me just try to log in. Okay. What's this? Just give me a moment. I don't know why this is happening now. I'm supposed to show this. All right, so once you click on upload receipts, you get to have access to this form, right? You get to see November 2023 cohort Analytics registered participant form. So yeah, you include all your details, the necessary details, your registration email, right? Your type of payment and year review, right? So that's that for the registration process. You can always, go on in the program. So like I said, there is no, it's actually tentative yet for the December cohort. So you need to catch up on the discount at the moment to secure your slots for, let's say, the next cohort that will probably begin in January, because there's a high possibility that the prices might change in January. So you might need to catch up on a discount now, lock in your discount for future cohorts, right? So I don't know if I've been able to answer your questions. I believe I've been able to answer your questions. Let me know. All right, so Joy, please, you can go ahead to ask your question. I've tried to unmute you.
Okay. Hi. Thanks for the information section. Like I was asking on the chat box, for those of us that are outside Nigeria, considering the time difference, I live in Calgary and 11 a.m. is about 4 a.m. over here. And during winter, it may change to 3 a.m. So I'm wondering, during those sections, those like virtual sections, are they going to be recorded? Because there will be some times that we may not be able to join. Some Saturdays, I may not see mom. So yeah, there are possibilities that I may not be able to join on during some sections. Would they be recorded for us to view after the class? Yeah.
Yes, sure, definitely. It's just like what we are currently doing at the moment. You can see at the top right of your screen, recording. The session is actually. So once we are done with this session, we'll provide the recordings to everybody. So that's how the live classes are. Your classes are going to be recorded and to be provided to you. Yes. So for individuals that were able to meet up, can always fall back in the recording. For individuals that were able to meet up but would want to also practice, constant practice, right? Would also get access to the recording. So Greg, I see that you're trying to ask a question. Do you want to put up your hand and I've asked you to unmute, Greg? Please, I've asked you to unmute. Please shoot your questions.
Hello everyone. Hello.
Yeah, good evening,
Can
Greg.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I want to ask if you could offer more than 2 courses.
2 courses
Hello?
in what way? Yeah, I can hear you.
In BA and HRA.
Actually, it's actually time consuming, you get, and you would not be able to do that, right? Because once you get, it's actually, like I said, it's an intensive training. I don't know how you intend to merge the 2 programs together. You get, so because we would always advise when you are done with one training program, then you go for the other training, because it's actually an intensive training and you might not be able to, catch up. So instead of you losing at both ends, why don't you get a full grasp of one of the training first, then you move on to the other training program. I believe that helps.
Okay, yes.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have any further questions before we call it a day? All right, so if there are further questions, do state it in the chat or All right, thank you very much. Like I said, the registration is for the first 20 persons. So immediately we hit 20, we are falling back to our normal price of 400,000 naira instead of 300,000 naira. The best time for you to catch up on the discount is now, right now at the moment. Take a screenshot of the account details on your screen or make use of the link that has been shared in the chat box by Priscilla from Tenalytics to make your payments. All right, thank you very much, everyone. And thank you to Russ. If you really enjoyed today's session, ensure to put a 1 in the chat and also tag Tenalytics on whatever social media platform you would be engaging us with. We want to see your lovely dashboards that you're able to create at the end of the day. And yes, I believe it's a good night from my end, and good night, everyone. Good night, everyone. Yeah. Cheers.